I want to introduce you to perhaps one of my favorite topics inside of these Microsoft Office applications, especially here inside of Excel. We're going to discuss macros. Now, before we get in and start to demonstrate creating macros and manipulating, editing macros and such, I want to talk about just getting a solid understanding of what a macro is all about. And I'm going to do this by giving you an example, a scenario here. Open in front of you, I've got this courses exercise file, and I'm currently on the macro tab. In the macro tab, I've got a simple little table here. Here's the scenario. This is probably something that I'm sure that you do, and if you don't do it currently, I'm sure you'll do it at some point within your career within Excel. This table, it's raw data. There's not much to it. It's probably something that was imported from some other system, imported in from a database or a text file or maybe some web tool, but it was just data that was dumped down into Excel. Now, it's inside of Excel because I want to do things like sort it and filter it and do calculations, turn it into a pivot table, make it presentable, whatever it is, but I've dumped it into Excel so I can start to work with the data. Now, imagine that this is something that you do every week. Every week I get a new set of data that gets dumped down into Excel. Now, in order for me to really work with it, make it more presentable, I want to format it. I want to go through and do things like put headers at the top. I should have employee ID, last name, first name, department, email address, a phone extension, location, and so on. I should put headers at the top of my document. And I want to reformat the dates. I don't like the standard format here. I want these to be currency. These are their pay rates on the right-hand side. I want to format things, change colors. I want to do all sorts of stuff to this raw data list to make it more presentable. Well, we can do that. I can insert a row and put headers at the top and highlight stuff and reformat it. But once again, this is something I do every week with a new set of data that comes in. Well, this is an excellent candidate for a macro. A macro will allow you to perform all those operations, okay? But as you're performing those operations, adding headers, formatting stuff, and so on, you record yourself doing this. By recording yourself, later on, like next week, when you need to perform these same operations, you hit a single button and it does it all for you. It essentially replays the recording. This is why I love macros so much, because it's about creating automation. We're going to automate something that we all do just manually within Excel, like formatting and inputting data, record ourselves doing it so that we can automate it later on. You hit a button and your work is done. So let's try this out. We're going to record ourselves creating this macro that's going to clean up this little table. Put headers at the top, reformat the dates, add these as currency, and maybe turn on the filters or maybe do a few other things in there as well. But we're going to record ourselves doing this so that we never have to do it again manually. All right, let's try it out. Let's create our first little macro right here.